Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Wednesday to talk all the news of the hump day from the world of professional wrestling. It's our very good friend, Brian Wohl. B-Wo, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Great to be back. I missed you guys last week, but I got married. So
Yeah,
that was fun.
there it is, everybody. B-Wo officially married now. Do you have the ring? Can we see the ring?
Oh, yeah. Hey.
What is this here? Is it pewter? Is it platinum?
No, it's just some white gold.
White gold? All right, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
What love. I love that. Well, B-Wo, fully married. So much joy in the air. We have tons and tons of news to get to here today. We also have a lot of audio to get to, extra audio here. Before we get to that, though, I do want to start the show by sending out our absolute best to Scott Hall, who Jerry Jarrett is reporting broke his hip. PW Insider saying he's in the hospital. He was expected to be part of WrestleMania weekend, but now that's all up in the air. And so just very sad to hear about Scott's incident there. I worked with Sean Waltman for a long time. I know how much respect he has for Scott, even despite the ups and downs he's had kind of outside the ring. Unfortunate to hear that Scott's laid up in the hospital at the moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a hip injury is brutal. It's very painful, and it takes a long time to recover.
Yeah. So, Scott, we're sending our best to you. Hope you feel better. Hope you make it out to WrestleMania weekend if possible. But yeah, let's get to it. Big show, lots of news. Chat room open here. Everybody's piling in. Nicholas, my plant friend over on YouTube. Good afternoon, Nick and Brian. Johnny Sunshine over on YouTube. Hey, everyone. What's the big news tonight? Hey, it's kind of daytime still here in Chicago. Mike D making the case for Demolition with Crush to go into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. Lee Butler accusing me of routinely abusing alcohol on the air. And Lee, it's been years since I abused alcohol on the air. Did I used to? Yeah, back in WrestleZone, early days, late at night, called them grapefruit episodes. That's not how I roll here. 4 o'clock time. Thanks for being a long time watcher there, Lee. Esteban here, greetings and salutations. Doom Tribe T. Hey, yo. A lot of people in the house here tonight. We got Brian Bills over on Twitch, B-Wo, W-O-H. You know, look, everybody's piling in. It's almost like we got a lot to talk about, and we probably have a lot to talk about because of the full audio we're going to have here later on in the show. That is the full audio from the AEW Revolution media call with Tony Khan. You're going to hear that all later on after B-Wo and I talk the news of the day. I was on that call, got to ask Tony if it's a foregone conclusion that Jeff Hardy is going to wind up in AEW. I prefaced it like that because it's so audacious to say it like that. I was hopeful it would elicit a very puff-chested response, and I kind of got that. I kind of got my wish a little bit, and he didn't say no. I mean, he did say it's not a foregone conclusion, but he did say Jeff's under contract for a few more days, but I would love to have him. Yeah, I'd love to have Jeff Hardy, so come on now, right? I feel like we got the answer to what I wanted to know.
Most certainly.
Yeah, so great call. Thanks to Tony. We'll have that full audio here later. It's also already up on YouTube if you want to go check that out here after the show. That's totally fine, too. And then at the end of the show, for everybody, we're going to dive into the mailbag. We're going to look at the big buzzy topic around Tony Khan, and that is the massive announcement he's going to be making tonight on Dynamite. That's going to bring us right into news you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. We're going to talk about it up top. Then we're going to talk about it with everybody else at the bottom of the show, too. What's going to happen here in just a few hours on Dynamite? What does Tony Khan have up his sleeve? Now, Matt Min, Andrew Zarian saying in many circles, it's believed AEW and HBO Max have agreed to a deal. They also noted that their source mentioned AEW has secured access to the catalog or tape library of an international pro wrestling promotion. Your thoughts, Brian?
I think this is humongous. I think Mr. Zarian is dead on with this. And what raised my eyebrows yesterday was an article in the Hollywood Reporter, which talked about how HBO Max got the rights to the U.S. men's and women's national soccer team, and they are going to start broadcasting live sports on HBO Max. So I feel like all of this is lining up for AEW to start having live programming on HBO Max. HBO Max, owned by Time Warner, the Warner parent company, and Warner also owns Bleacher Report, which broadcasts AEW's pay-per-views. So I feel like part of this announcement will also have AEW pay-per-views from the library will appear on HBO Max, and I feel like they're able to easily reach a deal with Bleacher Report because of that. Everybody's under the same umbrella. One thing I think is down the line is I feel like this will also start the full Warner family relationship with AEW and start a film relationship with AEW stars. I feel like Disney is already sniffing WWE for this, to use WWE as a talent farm for Disney stars, and I think Warner is going to look at AEW as a talent farm for potential Warner stars.
Doesn't that kind of imply Warner would maybe want to buy AEW at some point and formally have them in their system so they wouldn't have to worry about like a break? I mean, I get the vibe that's why Disney is trying to, or, NBC Universal is trying to broker that deal to acquire the WWE right now, is to be able to do exactly what you're talking about, but without the worry of Vince or Tony, or I guess Tony now, but Vince deciding to go somewhere else, and they can't stop him.
I mean, it seems like that's where all of this is leading. Disney has bought pretty much everything else, so the only thing that they don't really own is WWE, and Warner has bought all of the other stuff that Disney hasn't bought. So I think that's kind of where this is all going. I'm excited for the opportunities for the talent. I'm excited to see where they go and how we can see AEW's talent continue to grow. I mean, you look at Danhausen, who's already done Team Coco projects, and what's Team Coco on? Warner.
Okay. All right. Yeah, dude, I don't know how he pulled off all that stuff. Like Danhausen and making that Conan O'Brien connection. What an amazing thing. I love it. And he also talks here about this international pro wrestling promotion that AEW, I guess, has secured the catalog or tape library for. You hear international pro wrestling promotion. A lot of the UK stuff got locked up with WWE, right? Progress Revolution. I guess hypothetically that would leave New Japan, the rights to New Japan content, maybe in the States, maybe not internationally. I don't know. I mean, I feel like buying up in New Japan's tape library outright and just leaving them with their own brand independent of that would make a whole lot of sense. But this brings me to the revelations. Sorry, revolution on the mind. That brings us to the revelations about Ring of Honor that have come to light here in the past 24. Fightful saying multiple wrestling companies say there have been overtures regarding a possible sale of Ring of Honor or partnership with another promotion. Ring of Honor sources noted that there were way more bidders than expected, and that multiple wrestling companies and a few media companies have been involved in talks at some point. A source within Ring of Honor indicated that an independently wealthy fan that is not in the wrestling business made an effort to purchase their company more recently, and that they were quoting $30 million for 50% ownership. A possible sale of Ring of Honor is said to still be on the table, and with that said, they have announced a return to the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia on April 10th. They have reportedly, they have tentative dates for live events and TV tapings set well past April, all the way up till the end of the year. And Ian Riccaboni and his little ROH weekly update thing or whatever has started calling this the new era, right, of Ring of Honor. I like new era better than 2.0. I like that better than ROH 2.0, personally. I don't know if these two things have anything to do with each other. But if you're talking about trying to flush out your library to maybe double, triple, quadruple, whatever in size very quickly to satiate what a delivery from HBO Max would look like to create that kind of real estate, why does this have to be one thing? Why can't this be two things? Why can't this be TK saw an offer to pick up Ring of Honor, pick up that library, go to HBO Max and say, look how much more real estate I have. All this stuff ties in. Look how many of my guys on TV are part of this tape library too, and how great to bring all of this content to pro wrestling fans. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreaching, but it is interesting to me that these two things are happening on top of each other.
I'm sure they definitely looked at it, but the report says international pro wrestling promotion, so my mind naturally goes to New Japan. But one thing that isn't completely out of bounds is possibly AAA. How interesting would it be to have access to Lucha characters, and expand that to the Warner property?
I don't think AAA I mean, and their president, I keep forgetting his name, the new president of AAA, the guy who's really running the ship there right now. He did a presser recently talking about how they're looking for their own TV distribution in the United States right now. That echoes other things I've heard from people in that camp. Not to say I can't see AAA working with AEW in some capacity. I think they already are. FTR is on TV every week with AAA titles. But I think AAA is out for themselves in not a negative way right now. I think they're trying to sync up their own TV deal. I mean, you have New Japan airing replays on Access TV right now. I don't know what that looks like. I just don't know what other big internet. And when you think international pro wrestling promotion, is it mean it is international, or does this mean it's an internationally known pro wrestling promotion? Is it a pro wrestling promotion that has done shows internationally, which Ring of Honor has done? So that's why I try to stretch the definition here a little bit of what those words mean. You know,
I can see that. Well, man, I feel like Japan has always been the white whale for Tony Khan. So maybe I feel like that's it. And eventually, I feel like a New Japan Super Show is got to happen at some point, right?
Yeah, you would think so. And the thing is, I think it's in the works for sure, especially with Japan opening back up. But that's not what this feels like. This feels like something that's going to be more businessy. And I've been bandying about the HBO Max thing for a while. Zarian bluntly kind of put it out there, and what he's hearing at the moment makes the most sense to me. I just say, if you're going to get a little, why not go the whole way? Why does it just have to be one thing when it could be everything all at once wrapped in a beautiful package? You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do think pay-per-views are going to stay on Bleacher Report, except for like replays. I don't think it'll be like Peacock where they'll air pay-per-views live.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of money they want to put up, right? Is it better for Tony Khan to not be charging people what, $40-$50 a pop to be watching his pay-per-views a couple times a year and just like run the 12 months a year kind of home? You know, they're already doing close to 12 kind of main style events throughout the year anyway at this point with the TV specials and everything like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish we could see like what the numbers actually are that they're making off these pay-per-views, because I wonder if it is more lucrative.
Yeah. Well, Doom Tribe T saying, why not use this announcement for as the kickoff as a big angle for Dynamite tonight? I don't know. Do they do it right up top? Do they tease it the whole show? Do they put it in the middle there at that 8 o'clock hour? I don't know. Any one of them makes sense. So that's our speculation here about AEW and the announcement. We're going to come back to it in the mailbag. I see there's a lot of comments here about it. Jump over to the Twitter at Wink Daily. Leave your comments there. Vote in the daily poll. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about what you all think is the big, massive announcement here tonight. But another big, interesting story here dropping literally in the last hour or so. We just got it up on the site in the last hour. PWInsider.com saying Lisette Panetta was recently let go from WWE after only 2 years in the position of manager of global talent strategy and development in January of 2020. Her position led to her working closely with Triple H, whose official corporate role was, of course, EVP of global strategy and talent development, with sources going so far as describing Panetta as Triple H's top executive assistant. Her role had become limited following Triple H's absence, and that it was felt it was only a matter of time before she was let go. Her departure has led to many questions regarding Triple H's future with the WWE. The 14-time world champion and former head of NXT has not returned to work full-time since he underwent a procedure for a major cardiac event back in September of 2021. And I want to give Eric Mutter from the Wrestling Inc. team the layup here as he was putting this piece together. Remembered an SEC filing that we were able to verify. It's the latest 14A SEC filing regarding Triple H's talent contract with WWE. It is, in fact, set to expire on March 30th. And though his contract will automatically renew his contract will automatically renew unless either he or WWE give 90 days notice, and there's been no indication there's been any notice given. So it doesn't look like Triple H could be out the door, but there is, again, he's in an executive level. You would think you'd have to let people know through your stock your SEC filings that an executive is going to be on their way out of the company with 90 days notice. Doesn't look like that's happening. Doesn't look like Triple H is in a great spot either. How do you feel about this news, Brian?
Oh gosh, this doesn't sound good for Triple H.
I don't think he wants to be there, man. Like, why would he? I don't, and it's not like the thing I feel like people don't want to say because it's very heavy-handed is, but the stress of this job, like, gave Triple H a heart attack, right? And I know that there's like genetic issues and stuff like that, but even if you didn't have those genetic heart issues, like the stories I've heard about the back and forth, the just like constant turmoil, the stress that came with that position, I'd have a heart attack. No doubt about it. It sounded awful. And like you come out, everybody loves you. You're top of the world. Things have moved well past you by the time you become conscious. And you're there and you got these daughters, you got your wife, you can kind of just enjoy the fruits of your labor. I just go about my day. That's me personally. I know the fans will get up in arms about it or anything, but like him, Shane, these people, whatever. Go take your millions, live your life. I'm sure they'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, I wonder if they're the type of people that could walk away like that. I wonder if they could stop. Triple H is such a driven individual. It's hard for me to imagine him not working forever. He's just. But a good part of me would love to have him just be a guy who sits under a tree and reads a book every day and finds some peace.
I think there's a middle, right? Like he can have his passion projects. Shane has his passion projects. He does things outside. He, I guess, he's hanging out with rugby people, trying to put deals together or whatever. He has his passions. Hunter has his passions. Let's not pretend like Hunter didn't get to do his vision of pro wrestling for 8 years. For better or worse, there are people of this era that will look back on what Triple H did like, how did WWE drop the ball so miraculously? He will not be looked at as a failure. He will be hailed as a hero. And, it's not a bad legacy to have. And what more do you really need to do,
Nothing. It was awesome. It was my favorite wrestling show for a very long time.
Yeah. So just the latest going on with Triple H there. We got some updates on the WWE women also from PW Insider. Alexa Bliss. Her next program, not likely until after Mania. Same with Bayley. No current plans for her to be called upon to return to TV regularly until after WrestleMania. Asuka, she's ready, but just waiting for creative plans. So 3 big names here. Do you feel they're missed in the mix right now? Do you feel like there's room for them right now?
I mean, Bayley and Asuka are 2 of my favorite wrestlers, so I miss them all the time.
Right.
I feel like, and also Bayley, how can you just not have her on camera, on commentary, doing anything? She carried the brand during COVID. Bayley was amazing. You could put Bayley in anything and she would be fantastic. Asuka also helped carry that brand during COVID. Asuka getting those long promos where she would speak Japanese, it was amazing. I don't know how you can miss on these people. And Alexa Bliss, also a tremendously talented performer and has been successful with just about every gimmick she's been given. So
Sure.
I feel like leaving them off the show is a real miss. That no discredit to Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Shotzi. There's so many talented women, but gosh, how can you not find a spot for Bayley and Asuka?
Well, and right now we got the 2 top title matches, right? Raw and SmackDown title matches. We got the women's tag match, right? But that's really about it. There's not any non-title matches for the women this year at WrestleMania. Am I right?
No. But they haven't really been given time on television to develop an issue. All of them, I feel like everything's been kind of cut.
But how much time do you need? Look, Edge and AJ Styles made lightning in a bottle on Monday night. I'm in. Took a 1 promo. You waited 7 days. AJ Styles showed up, hit him in the balls. We're there, right? And just being blunt, that worked. It's not like you can't do it. No. Bayley, we don't know where her injury's at. I don't want to say because, look, Bayley, same deal. You could bring Bayley out with Alexa Bliss. Those 2 you could put something together with. No title involved. Absolutely, 100%. Asuka, Alexa Bliss, I feel like it's tougher with Asuka, because like the promos aren't there. It's all action. So you can't quite do with Asuka what you did with Edge and AJ, but still, I don't know, man. Like it just strikes me that there's no non-title program. All roads for the women to Mania right now. You got to have title. Or you're not going to be involved in anything, right? So
That's what it seems like right now. They just aren't into the stories for the ladies right now.
yeah. So lastly here, we'll look at NXT from last night. Couple of scary moments, I guess, are what people are talking about coming out of the show. Not necessarily the in-ring action. First, Amari Miller was in a match with Lash Legend. She apparently got injured. Lash Legend beat her by pinfall. The match included a few instances of like some sloppy offense until Miller hit a moonsault for a close 2 count, came back, charged at Legend. Legend sent her face first in the turnbuckles, scooped her to her shoulders, then drove Miller to the mat for the pin. Miller was checked on by ringside doctors after the match, was taken away in a stretcher. Later on social media, confirmed she got a concussion. I don't know when exactly this happened. I watched the match back a couple times. It wasn't a very long match, but I will say whoever told Lash Legend it was okay to take Amari Miller, smack her head up and down between that second and third rope like it was a basketball, I have never seen a stupider thing in my entire life. That was a very dumb move, in my opinion, especially from somebody that is not necessarily a great in-ring worker yet. Like the Lash Legend match from main event had to be edited into like a montage. They didn't even like show the match. So that's a very, very dangerous move. I don't know why anybody decided to let her do that. It was weird.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of close calls, and then this injury this week. We saw the Montez Ford frog splash onto Randy Orton. Man, this stuff is dangerous, and using that kind of force on somebody's head. I know the turnbuckle is padded, but it's still an object, and it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Lash Legend needs a little more time. That's all I think. I don't want to put all the heat on here to her, outright, but it seems like you have the one bad match at main event. You come here and your opponent goes out on a stretcher, and visibly there are moments there where things just don't seem to click. And again, there are just moves that just didn't seem to need to be done. And then somebody gets very, very hurt. So we'll see what happens with Lash. We're also going to find out what happens with Duke Hudson. He received a lot of criticism for his version of the legendary Razor's Edge powerbomb. Lance Storm wrote on Twitter of the move, say hello to a concussion. This is not a safe move. Now, that tweet was then liked by Edge, Mick Foley, Happy Corbin, Deanna Purrazzo, Big Swole, Aaron Stevens, Brian Pillman Jr., Trent, and James Storm. So many, many wrestlers agreeing. Did you have a chance did you watch it back? Have you okay?
Yeah.
Very dangerous, right?
It certainly does. The Razor's Edge is a pretty intense move already, but releasing the opponent that high with that kind of, it looked like it was coming down with force too. It wasn't just a release.
No, I agree. You're supposed to let him fall, like you fall with them, right? But yeah, I think he kept his hands up, and you saw this guy. He pops up on his butt onto his head, and Duke Hudson's 6+ feet tall. And you see this guy, this poor guy, gets slammed to the mat. His head pops off the mat. And having had that happen to me myself and gotten like knocked out, I can tell you, very, very painful and very, very scary. Again, we're watching a bunch of the greenest performers WWE has try to find their way. Maybe I don't want to put the heat on the agents necessarily, but like, some of the stuff these people are doing just for their skill level, just, I don't know. It just last night, I don't know. It's a weird show. I don't know. I've lost for words here right now, I guess.
Yeah. And it's also very hard because we're so used to the previous NXT product, which had some of the finest wrestling on television. And so it's hard for us to adjust and kind of take this in for what it is. But it's almost impossible not to compare the two, and that the major difference is staggering and very hard to treat this like it's the same product.
All right. Well, Brian, I want to thank you for talking all the news of the day at the top of the show with me. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got a little bit more to go here as we are going to dive in the mailbag. And, of course, thank you to AEW for the access to Tony today on the AEW media call. Again, if you didn't get a chance to listen to it all in full here, if you just can't, skip to the end for the mailbag, you can go check that out over on our YouTube channel as well. And of course, find us Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel, all the platforms really, to watch us live before we hit the pod waves. So we're going to dive to the mailbag now at Wink Daily, WINC Daily, to look at today's poll. Today's poll question asking, what do you think Tony Khan's massive announcement tonight is going to be? About 150 votes here in the last 24 hours. 64.9 believe AEW HBO Max deal. 20.6 believe Tony Khan has bought Ring of Honor. 9.2 some kind of Ring of Honor New Japan Super Show. 5.3 something else. 3 and 5 fans thinking AEW HBO. 1 and 5 TK bought Ring of Honor. Does this surprise you? What are your thoughts?
I'm not surprised at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these are actually true. I think there's a very, very big potential for Tony Khan to have multiple announcements tonight. He usually has always a little something extra up his sleeve. He loves to do that. He's quite a showman.
Sure.
And he's also really only appeared on television, I think, 1 or 2 other times. Is that right?
He appeared for the Brody segment during the Brody tribute where he gave Brody's son the boots with Cody, I believe. Yeah. And he's been seen like in the back with people like trash tables and stuff. But yeah, I think that's about it.
So this is going to be a big one. I feel like there's going to be more than one announcement here. This has got to be something huge.
Doom Tribe T saying, great point, Brian, for what it's worth. Antonio Garcia, TK is going to have his cake, eat it too. He's going to stream on HBO Max, buy Ring of Honor, have a brand split with Ring of Honor, and then have Triple H be the Ring of Honor general manager. We can.
I love it.
I love the Bus Cat over here on Twitter. He's saying it's probably HBO, but I want it to be Shane buying AEW, right? There is still Shane out there. How weird would that be, right?
So weird.
Nate Fairley, after hearing the media call on HBO Max, is going to be streaming live soccer soon. HBO Max deal seems likely. That's what you said. Let's see. We have Jesse Goddard's Mr. Pectacular. Remember him from TNA days. He's down in OVW now. Says, I'm bringing my 500-plus day OVW National Heavyweight Championship to AEW Dynamite so I can show everyone what a real champion looks like. Okay. I love that Jesse Goddard's got it on today's poll. At Nightmare PW saying, I think it's going to be multiple announcements. HBO Max seems likely. Anything else here? Yeah, let's see. Well, I'll bring up Jay Russo Jr. here. He's saying this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But why not? We'll spin off into one more subject. We got 2 minutes. With Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky already sucking every second of allotted female TV time, why would Asuka and or Bayley even want to come back and get stuck in a mid-card role? Well, because it's a lot of exposure. And sometimes not having a title involved, Jay Russo Jr., can mean you can have more fun. It means you're not solely focused on one thing. It means you can find different reasons to really get at each other. The title is great and it has meaning, but I think it's more fun to not have a title. What drives somebody to really want to see somebody get beat up that doesn't involve that championship? That's what I see with the you see Bayley, Alexa, Asuka. There's an untapped match so far. We don't have that non-title match. What does that look like? Where's my blood feud, Brian?
There you go. Blood feud. That's what we need more of too. And the WWE women's division hasn't had that kind of blood feud in a while. And these are women that are capable of producing that. So, I feel like everybody wants live TV time. You can do whatever you want when you have that time. And Bayley, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss are 3 individuals who have maximized their minutes.
All right. Well, hey, we will leave it there. All right. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to have a big interview. I should have big interviews the next 2 days. So come back for those. Of course, support the Wrestling Inc. Daily on whatever podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher. I don't think we're on Peacock. I don't want to be on Peacock. We're not on Peacock. But tell Peacock, you wish you had the Wink Daily. You tag us in Peacock, you taunt them. Of course, you can also support WrestlingInc.com. Go follow all the socials. Right now, we're at WrestlingInc.com while we get our Twitter situation figured out. The Olympics got pissed at us because we did nothing that involved the Olympics. I still don't understand it. And, of course, come back here tonight after Dynamite for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, where we're going to be talking all about this big, massive announcement Tony Khan is making. It's a lot like this show. It's just different people. Brian, what do you want to put over here to wrap up the show today?
Oh, if you're in the Los Angeles area, come out to Dave & Buster's Hollywood tonight at 8:30 p.m. to see myself and Martin Morrow, another great wrestling comedian and personality, and fellow Chicagoan from back in the day. We'll be doing a show together with some awesome comics here in Hollywood. So come on out.
Big fan of both. Send my love to Martin, please. And yes, come go follow me over on Twitter. I'm at Nick_Hausman. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Absolutely sending our best to the people of Ukraine. Continued fight on my friends, our friends. You're doing great work over there, and the world is rooting for you right now. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.